Hey, how's it going? I'm Ben, and in this video I'm going to show you how to turn your company data into an AI assistant like you see here. It knows everything about my fake company, Ben's Bikes. Do you want to be in the video? So we're basically going to use your company data as the knowledge base for ChatGPT. And the reason we would do it this way is because it's easy to set up. It's low cost, so it's only $20 a month for ChatGPT Plus, which gives you the ability to make custom GPTs. It's low maintenance, so OpenAI does all the maintenance for the web app part of it. You don't have to worry about hosting and supporting anything. And lastly is the new feature. So as OpenAI releases new features like advanced voice mode, it'll automatically get integrated. So while there are advanced ways to fine-tune a model, a custom GPT might be all your company needs to start using AI. This is done in 3 easy steps. First, we take the raw company data and we paste it into ChatGPT to extract and categorize the information. This will leave us with text files that we can upload into our custom GPT. And lastly, we can share the link to the GPT with our team. Great. Let's start with step 1 here, extract and categorize the info. We're going to give ChatGPT some sample information and have it come up with categories. Then we ask ChatGPT to categorize the rest of the information. We just keep feeding data into it. Lastly, we copy and paste this curated data into text files, each file representing a category. Here we have some sample files for my fake company, Ben's Bikes. We have product details for our flagship bike, an owner's manual PDF, and an FAQ Excel file. On the right side of the screen is just the ChatGPT interface, and you can snap your web browser to the side of your screen by holding Windows and pressing the left and right arrow keys. Custom GPTs work best when the knowledge base is separated into categories or topics. So to get those topics, we're just going to copy and paste a bunch of raw data from the owner's manual. It's my cat's feeders. And it doesn't have to be formatted or anything. We just copy and paste a ton of information in here. Do the FAQs as well. And we'll just hit enter here. Now we're going to ask AI to come up with the categories or topics for us. So we'll say, come up with 3 categories that all of this info falls under. So here are our categories: product specs and features, usage, maintenance and troubleshooting, and customer support and policies. Each of these represents a text file that is going to contain all of the facts for the given topic. Now that we have the 3 topics, we're going to categorize all of our information. We're going to tell ChatGPT, for the rest of this conversation, I'll provide raw text and you will extract brief facts and categorize them into one of the 3 categories. Provide in a bulleted text code snippet. Basically, I'm just going to copy and paste all the stuff from the left into the conversation on the right, and it's going to categorize the facts for me. So it says, got it, provide the raw text and I'll respond in the requested format. So depending on the length of the documents, you might need to chunk these up. So this is a pretty short document. I mean, it's 1.5 pages, but all the points are really short. So we can just paste this whole thing in here. Here you go. It's starting to categorize everything, starting with the product specs and features. And we can continue this by saying continue and don't repeat facts. Then we can go into the next doc here. It's also a short one. Paste and let it do its thing. And you can see, even though we have the phone number again in this document, it did not repeat it here. All right, we got one more document here, the FAQ. So all we need to do is copy everything, paste it in there, and we'll say something similar like continue, don't repeat facts. Alright, so we've successfully categorized and extracted the facts from these 3 documents. Now we need to copy and paste this info into the respective text files for each category. We can do this in Notepad, so we don't need to install any additional software. So let's copy the name of the first text file, save as, make a folder for your knowledge base, and paste the name in. Make sure you save it as a .text file. Now all that's left is to copy and paste all of the facts into their appropriate text file. So let's start with the product specs and features file. So we'll open this one first. And we just simply take the text, paste it in there. Go to the next response, take the text, paste it in there. Can you guess what we're going to do next? Go to the next response, copy, and paste. And press Control S to save the file. So let's continue with the next one, usage, maintenance, and troubleshooting. Go again to this first response. Control S to save. And we're good. We have now built our entire GPT's knowledge base. That's it for step 1. Let's move on to step 2, which is setting up the custom GPT itself with a custom photo, instructions, and uploading the docs that we just made. In your ChatGPT Pro subscription, you come to chatgpt.com/GPTs. Here we can create a new GPT. On the left side is where we configure everything. On the right side is where we can preview the chatbot. We're going to stay out of the Create tab because that tends to overwrite all of the more nuanced instructions that we'll have in here. So we're just going to focus on the Configure tab for now. We click the plus sign and then upload a photo. I made a little bike logo for us here, so we'll upload that. The name of the GPT will be Ben's Bikes Assistant. Now for the description, we have to decide if we want this to be an internal facing assistant or an external customer facing assistant. So let's just make this one for everyone. So we can make ours something like, I know everything about Ben's bikes. Now we go on to the instructions here. What does it do? How should it behave? And what should it avoid doing? Here is a really simple version of instructions you can use. Your goal is to answer questions based on the files in your knowledge base. Strictly refer to these files and route each request appropriately based on the file name. And here we give the 3 text files that we are going to upload to this GPT. Conversation starters we'll leave blank for now. Here is the real meat and potatoes, the knowledge. If you upload files under knowledge, conversations with your GPT may include file contents. Files can be downloaded when code interpreter is enabled. So let's hit upload files, select everything, and upload. So it's very important that the file names match the file names in your instructions here, especially as you get to larger knowledge bases. So even though you can upload 20 files to a custom GPT, I typically recommend that you stick with 10 max. That's what I found to be the actual practical limits of reliable knowledge retrieval. As far as the capabilities go, we can leave on web search, canvas we can turn off unless you're planning on doing some sort of coding. Image gen, we can leave it on. Code interpreter and data analysis, you can turn it on if you think your GPT may need to do math, but we'll leave it off for now. Actions, a little bit more of an advanced feature where you're having your GPT call an API. So we're going to skip that as well. So let's think about conversation starters. We want people to be greeted with when they open the GPT to kind of show them, hey, this is what this thing can do. So we can have the user greeted by these 3 questions. List everything you know about Ben's bikes. I guess it's not really a question. List product specs of your bikes, and how do I get in touch with Ben's bikes? And we can test on the right here. So let's start by listing everything you know about Ben's bikes. You can see they're flashed on the screen. It's searching through its knowledge. So we have the files in here. We told it to refer to the files when answering questions, and it looks like it is doing that. So here you can see the price, the performance, the different specs of the build, the safety, extra features, blah, blah, blah. So we can see it's clearly reading from the files here. Let's wipe the test out on the right and ask to list product specs of your bikes. You can see it was searching knowledge again. And of course we'll get the specs because it'll be reading from the product specifications text doc. Let's try the last conversation starter here. How do I get in touch with Ben's bikes? You can get in touch with Ben's bikes through the following channels. How could you use a system like this to help your company save time, whether you have your team using it or you're sharing it externally with potential customers? So we are still in draft phase here with Ben's Bikes Assistant. Let's hit create on the top right, and here is where we have the option to share how we see fit. So if you're sharing it with your team, you'll share with anyone with the link. Right there, we have checked anyone with the link. We can do only me if you're just developing it. And we have a GPT store option, which is the public option. So anyone will be able to search and find your GPT. So I'll provide a link to this one in the description of the video. So I'll do save it to the GPT store, which is the most public option. We have to choose a category for it. This is the other category, and click save. We can see the confirmation the GPT has been published, and we get a link to copy and share. And this is how it will look when someone else opens the link you sent them, and they don't need ChatGPT Plus to view and use your GPT. You only need it to build it. And that's about it. Some common maintenance you might want to perform on this thing. You might want to refine the instructions a little bit more. You may want to add or remove files in your knowledge base. So remember, when you update any of these files, you need to click X here, go back to upload files, select the updated file, and upload it again. And again, always make sure that the names of the files in your instructions match the name of the files actually loaded into the GPT. And make sure you hit update. There's the confirmation it's updated. And that's it. That's how to turn your company data into an AI assistant. Few closing thoughts. If your data is very complex and domain specific, for example, if you work in legal or a medical industry, and you have hundreds of pages of text that need to be adhered to strictly, you'll want to look at fine-tuning, which is a little more in-depth and costly process. Another common question is, what if you want to call this AI chatbot in an API and use it in some other software? That's where you will look to use the Assistants API. So you basically build this thing in another interface, and that lets you call it with an API rather than accessing it through this interface. So that's it for today's video. Please leave a like on the video if I was able to help you out today, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.